Ree and the ships at sea, Jorge. I can't believe it's reunion time again. Quite frankly, I thought I'd be dead by now. Oh hey, hi! It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 11, The Reunion. OMG. All I have to say is, Jorge, drink me! Ooh, what is this? This is a Talky versus Yvie? Talky versus Yvie. What is it? Oh yes, this is this week's cocktail. So delicious. It's a little mixed up right now. What it is it's a whiskey sour made with fresh lime juice, and you float a good strong red wine on top. Traditionally, this was called a New York sour. Whiskey sour with wine on top. Who'd know? So delicious! I can't believe it. Now, I have the recipe down below, but also, if you want to support me on Patreon, you will get this tutorial as well as all the tutorials from this season of RuPaul's Drag Race. So, let's get to it. First of all, everyone showed up. Everyone showed up. I had money down that Rajah wouldn't. I just had a couple of dollars. I'll pay you later. I'm just saying, I thought if anyone wasn't going to show up, it was Rajah. But no, everyone showed up. Everyone seemed to play fairly nicely, as is the want of a reunion, because it's a couple months after the last time they filmed. It's even longer than that. Some of these queens are way better put together than they were on Drag Race. The first queen that took my breath away, I'm just going to say, was Soju. She looked just like a Troy Brooks painting. If you don't know who Troy Brooks is, it's probably A, because you're not Canadian or Torontonian. He's a Toronto painter, a fine artist. He is just one of the most beautiful. I'm just showing, Madonna has bought his work. If you're a Madonna fan, then you've heard of Troy Brooks. If you haven't, please visit his website. I put the link down below. But look at that, and look at Soju. I couldn't believe it. I thought that if she wasn't inspired by Troy Brooks, I'm going to be very impressed. I'm just saying. Another queen who looks spectacular, Nina West. Oh my God, less is more. Less is more for our Ms. West. She had just a beautiful face. That wig, the sculpture on that wig, I'm so jealous. And her outfit with the monkeys, a hoot. But to be name dropping all these celebrities that have been shouting her out, like Rihanna and AOC, OMG is all I'm saying. Well done for Nina West. You see, winning isn't always the best reward, I'm just saying. But the one queen who took my breath away was Miss Vanjie. Oh my God. Now, one of the things that I had a problem with Miss Vanjie was I felt like she looked like a doll, like she wasn't real. Her makeup was very hard. It almost looked like marker lines of orange and white. And then she put those contacts in, and with her eyes blinking, she just did a little fembot action going on as far as I was concerned. So to see her going from fembot to J-Lo was spectacular. That dress was nice. Her minimal makeup like Nina West. That wig was lovely. The green fur was a nice pop. She looked gorgeous. And I didn't notice she had new teeth because I didn't think her old ones were that bad. But I loved her whole thing about getting filler done. If you're not filling, you ain't winning. Here's to you, Vanjie. There's that. Of course, I loved Scarlett Envy's green with envy look. That wig was gorgeous. She looked gorgeous. Just loved it. But the look that stole the show for me was Yvie Oddly. That just gotten out of the tub look with the green face mask. It was beautifully painted on. Her makeup, the blending of that you could see, was stunning. And then that headpiece with the bubbles and the ducks and the... I'm sorry, that was just absolutely my favorite reunion look. Good for you, Yvie Oddly. That's how you set a bar, I'm just saying. This is speaking of bars. Now, it wouldn't be a reunion without some drama, and we had a lot of it this year. Rajah, I'm just saying. For instance, wig-gate 2. The attack of the tumbleweeds. I loved that Rue thought she would have a murder she sat down and wrote moment and clear the whole thing up. But the more she dug into this topic, the more convoluted it got, eh? I'm so serious. Who did Ariel leave wigs for? Did she leave wigs at all? Who took them? Who didn't take them? Who had she left wigs for? Oh, God. Did she leave a message on Twitter supporting Plastique because she actually had left the wigs for her? Or did she leave a message on Twitter for Plastique to keep the social media backlash down on her? I don't even care. There, I've said it. It couldn't be less interesting to me. Anybody who leaves anything behind, especially around drag queens, and leaves, should just kiss what they left behind goodbye. I'm just saying, those queens have sticky fingers and big dance bags. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. I'm just saying. That said, I thought it was very funny that Rajah, who had taken the only wig that Ariel was that interested in, had brought it to the reunion and unceremoniously just threw it at Ariel. It couldn't have been more dismissive, as if Ariel asking for the wig back or saying that she would like the wig back was more insulting than Rajah taking it without asking in the first place. Here's to Rajah. At least she owns being a bitch, I'll tell you. Don't get me wrong, I love that Rajah's a bitch. I mean, somebody has to be. But she did not come off well in season 11. She was very antagonistic. And that whole thing in the confessionals, the way she talked about other queens, especially Yvie, oddly. You know, I'm glad Yvie called her out for it. Because how do you feel good about yourself when somebody you've been dealing with face to face pleasantly enough turns around and says all this hate on behind your back? I mean, this is the thing that kills me. That these queens are talking in these confessionals, and what do they think that it's not going to get? Are they just having a chat with the producer? They're just, you and I'll just have a chat. That camera's there for propriety, and that's it. But no, or are they hiding the cameras? Is that what it is? The cameras are hidden. These queens are saying whatever they're saying and not thinking the world's going to see it and there's going to be a comeuppance. Seriously. Either way, I feel badly for Yvie. I also feel badly for Rajah. I don't think that Rajah is a bad person per se. But like most people, when they feel attacked, they're up against the wall, or they're in a situation like a contest that they're clearly losing and they start to scramble, they just start grasping at straws. They're desperate. And I think it's very easy for someone like Rajah to attack someone like Yvie, because in their mind, they're not even equal to the task. It just breaks my heart. It's such an unnecessary situation. But that said, Rajah didn't apologize. I'm just saying. Not that she didn't try. I think officially Rajah apologized 3 times. Now I'm just going to say this. No apology should ever have the word "but" in it. I apologize, but there should never be an excuse as to why you were like that. The reason you were like that is irrelevant. You want to apologize for what you did or not. These are the choices. And I feel like because of the situation, Ru being there, the cameras and everything, and all the other queens, I felt that there was a level of awareness for Rajah that the fans were also watching. So here was her opportunity to kind of smooth things over with the queens and possibly start mending fences on social media. But no, it seemed to me that Rajah wasn't interested in any of that. She seems fairly good with what she's got, and if she loses fans along the way, well, what can we say about that? But what else do you expect from a Capricorn? Another piece of drama that I was just loving was the big question. Was A'keria a shit disturber or not? The answer is yes. Yes, she was. She disturbed all kinds of shit on season 11. What breaks my heart the most about it, though, is that she absolutely didn't own it. This is why I like Yvie. This is why I like Scarlett. This is why I like Rajah. They own their actions. A'keria just seemed to have, in her mind, an answer as to what happened. Like that whole thing with Plastique and the video from home from her boyfriend, and he seemed to contradict her story to Rue about her family not supporting her. But here's clearly her boyfriend talking about his grandma sending him love. That's not the whole family. It's not the whole story. But Akira in the reunion said, well, she asked me about it and I just told her. That's not the case, because they cut to the camera and there's Akira walking up to Rajah and telling her. Rajah was looking the other way, doing her own thing, and then the minute Akira said something, she's like, who said what now? And she got her stirring the pot. And this is why I'm so disappointed that she denied it, because even during the makeover episode, where she was clearly disturbing the shit with the wig-gate and letting everyone know what Scarlett had said in confidence to a couple of queens, clearly Akira is a shit disturber. Clearly Akira likes to sit back and kind of puppet master situations. I just wish she'd admit it, because it would certainly make her, in my mind anyway, a more interesting person. Because if I was ever over at her house, I would really be worried about leaving the room, I just think. Of course, the season 11 reunion wouldn't be a reunion if we didn't talk about Brangie. Of course, that's Vanjie and Brooklyn Heights. Now, the one thing that I was right out of the gate kind of, what's going on, was RuPaul saying the first ever love affair on RuPaul's Drag Race. Was it? But as Brooklyn and Vanjie both said, they were in a contest. They weren't looking for this. It was nice that it came up, but they stayed focused, or at least Brooklyn seemed to more than just think. Also, it seemed to me that when they said that they weren't together anymore, which I'm sorry, that broke my heart a little. But I'm not surprised, because often when you meet somebody in one situation and then you go home and see them in real life, it can be an eye-opener, I'm just saying. But the reason that they broke up, because Brooklyn was going on about how it's hard for her to be tied down. And I think it was all just nice language that says she prefers an open relationship and isn't interested in not pursuing interests if they come up, so to speak. And it sounds to me like Vanjie is a girl after my own heart. She is a romantic, and she likes to be romanced. And when you're that type of person, of course a post-it isn't going to do it. So at least the two of them were able to come to terms together and say this isn't going to work. And clearly from the reunion, it looks like if anything were going to happen again, they're both open to it, and they may actually come at it from a different point of view. The hard thing is, it sounds to me like Vanjie was traveling a lot, and Brooklyn was working in Tennessee. So I can understand how she may have got, I don't know, bored by Vanjie not being around, lonely. Is that what we're going to call it, lonely? Plastique was another point of drama. Did she or didn't she know who Britney Spears was? Is she completely a pop culture Luddite? There seem to be a lot of different views on this and a lot of different opinions, but I like what Scarlett said the most, which was that she couldn't speak to Plastique's experience, especially as an immigrant, because she doesn't know. But in the moment of the challenge, it seemed to be an excuse for a bad performance. And I agree with Scarlett. Plastique sucked. That's all. No big. Which brings us, of course, to the whole thing that inspired this week's cocktail, Talky versus Yvie. First of all, I would just like to say, poor Talky, 30 pounds. She gained 30 pounds. What did they film, for 2 months? I was on a cruise once. I think I gained 12. But my room was right next to the buffet, and I just would reach. I wouldn't even walk them to the thing. That's me. I don't know what Silky was doing. I mean, I know what she was doing. She was giving room service at the hotel they were held up in. A hell of a workout is what I think Talky was doing. But good for you, Talky, just saying. The one thing I will say about Talky is she finally gave Yvie a real apology. Rajah should take notes. It was a lovely apology. There was no button it. There was no nothing. It was just, I shouldn't have been that way. I was caught up in the drama, and I apologize. Good for Talky. Bless her. Something that I'm surprised came up, although I'm not surprised by it, was Scarlett finding out that the entire cast hated her. And now, just let me say this. When they introduced the cast, I was in love with Scarlett. I think Scarlett is a fantastic personality when it's about her. The minute the show, especially that first episode, and queen after queen came in and they were all at different levels, maybe better, maybe equal to what she had done, she shouldn't play poker. Let's just start with that. But her whole face the whole time was like, and I get it. I was one of the people who I kept saying, oh, please don't be a bitch. Please don't be a bitch. I like you too much. Please, 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 please don't be a bitch. But she came off bitchy. She came off kind of like she was better than everybody else. And I can see how that wears on people. But I have to tell you, she turned it around completely. But I think the exact moment that she started to turn it around for me was when she was picked last for the acting challenge in episode 2, and she had to, and she likened it to Julia Roberts being dissed in Pretty Woman. You just made a big mistake, huge. That moment for me in the season made me still love Scarlett. I wasn't as worried about her being bitchy or jealous or tough with the other girls when that happened. So I'm glad that she followed through. And she ended up being one of my favorite people this season. Because she was honest, she didn't play any of the drama, and when people asked her questions, she answered it. Who doesn't love that? Here's to you, Scarlett, seriously. Another drama that didn't much get resolved was the whole debate. Social media queens versus performance queens. Who's better? Who's worse? Blah, blah, blah. I have to say, this has been a debate in drag forever. Even before social media, they broke drag down. Pageant queens versus fishy queens versus art house queens versus amateur queens. They always read each other, and there's always this drama. So I'm not surprised by it at all. I mean, seriously, the media may have changed, but the content remains the same. Hell, this reunion even had drama when there wasn't drama, aka Kahana. What the hell was that? I mean, I can understand. Kahana spent 2 episodes on RuPaul's Drag Race being mostly forgettable, and then here on the reunion, she's tucked in the back, off to the left. I totally understand why she chirped up and tried to make it about her, because not only was she kind of off to the left and in the back, but she also kind of missed out on the whole opulent, iron everything meme. Like, she just seemed to be an add-on to, it was all about Mercedes. And that said, Mercedes just had that lovely whole highlight reel of her trials and tribulations as a Muslim queen working in America, bless her. So I can understand. Kahana felt that she was just completely eclipsed by the whole thing, and that's when she kind of threw this comment out about Mercedes posting the meme and saying, Shantae, you stay, I guess the day of or the day before the finale, or the episode where Kahana got kicked off. And she seemed to get her nose out of joint over that somehow or another Mercedes was spoiling the episode or some such thing. And so Mercedes apologized and took it down, but then Mercedes put it back up and yada, yada, yada. All I have to say is, who cares? This was obviously just a point of contention that Kahana, I feel, made up to keep herself in the conversation for the reunion. God bless her. Well, there you go. That's all the drama. That's season 11 in a nutshell. I'm so excited for the finale. I'm really, I'm really excited to see these queens battle it out. I would love to see Brooklyn Heights win, of course, because, well, but Yvie, I thought, had a great season. If Akira won, I would be very impressed, only because I think that Akira has the skills to win in a lip sync, but I just, out of the season, I feel she kind of just in the background, just that titchy touch. And Silky, from day one till now has been diminishing her light. And I would like to say that this reunion was the most contained Silky has ever been. She didn't talk over anyone. She only talked when she was spoken to. I guess all of the social reprimanding she's had for being boisterous and loud has finally come home to roost. I hope it doesn't dim her light completely, because like her or not, Silky's light is the reason you keep watching. She's right. You never have a dull moment when she's on TV. I'm just saying. So here's to Silky. Here's to the whole cast. Good for them all for coming back. Oh, so next week, the finale. Which team are you? I'm hashtag Team Brooke. I have to be, because she's Canadian, but I'm also hashtag Team Brooke because I really love her aesthetic as a queen. For me, as a drag queen, I like to watch queens that do things I can't do, and Brooklyn is there. Yvie, oddly, I have to say, my second choice, Team Yvie, because again, she's a queen that does things I can't do, and I'm so impressed by her all the time. But either way, we've only got one more week until it's all over. And then what are we going to do? I guess we're just going to drink the summer away. So, until next week, don't forget, like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget, my cocktail, the Talky versus Yvie, is available down below, but you can see the tutorial on my Patreon page, which is also linked down below, along with my PayPal Direct and my Redbubble link for merchandise that has me on it. Wouldn't you love that? Of course you would. So, until next week, miss me! Mwah!